Today we are so grateful to God for what has been considered and accomplished over the years. However, I consider those 20 years of counting not only, I consider as a stepping stones or another chapter in our spiritual journey. Now I know some of you feel that you will no longer continue on to be the leader. My suggestion is, before you step out, you take in a younger one for the future generations. I believe that I'm quite optimistic and passionate that for the next 10 or 20 years, you will have another era of inspirations and great ministry ahead, with the continued support of the church and the partners and friends. We can certainly look forward for greater years ahead, with already a solid foundation that has been laid. We can face the future and build for the next generation with greater faith. Now I like the theme this year that the committee had chosen, moving forward. And I find Philippians chapter 3 as exceptionally appropriate to inspire us for this task of great importance and to the glory of God. Now in this particular passage of scriptures, Paul draws a clear analogy from the athlete of his days. And I think it's safe or fair to say that if Paul were still alive today, he will use the same observation and probably using the modern sports to illustrate to us some principles for our Christian life and ministry. Now, what Paul is making clear here is that there are certain essential attributes that we must have in pursuing our spiritual goal. And these attributes are reflected in the mindsets of every successful athlete. And for us believers, to run the race, to win, we must first of all have the right kind of attitudes. Now, here the Apostle Paul begins the first attitude by saying in verse 12 of our text, "Not that I have already attained." Now, Paul clearly understands that he has not arrived yet. He did not entertain the idea that he had already achieved a certain depth or spiritual satisfaction. And yet, if there's anyone who could even thought of himself as having arrived, it could have been the Apostle Paul. Remember, he had led countless of people to Christ. He established churches all over the area and his region. He wrote sacred documents. And then he became an example to all the Christians around him. And yet still he recognized that he has a long way to go in his Christian life and ministry. Just as some sports celebrities who always desires for another championship ring, there is within them that sense of dissatisfaction. The same is true with us. When we begin to feel satisfied, thinking that we have already done our best, that we have arrived at a certain depths and level in our Christian life, then we cease to grow. We cease to grow. Folks, no matter how much we have grown spiritually, there's always room for further growth. Mm-hmm. If we think that we don't need to grow anymore, then we are in danger of falling. Remember what 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 12 said, "Let him who thinks that he stands take heed lest he falls." Now there are many Christians who are self-satisfied. And do you know why? Well, it is because they always compare themselves with other people. And what happens is, if you do that, you always find someone who is not doing better than you. If the Apostle Paul had compared himself with others, then he would have been tempted to become proud. If not, slow down in his work of ministry. And who would ever measure up with him anyway? But Paul did not compare himself with others. He compared himself rather with the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, if we do the same thing, we would realize that we still have a long way to go in our Christian service. As a matter of fact, we've just started. We will realize that we've just started. We have much to learn. There are many things that need to be changed in our lives, and we cannot slow down. We can never rest on past accomplishments and victories and successes. But let's move forward and constantly evaluating our lives and ministry, where we need to be strong and what were our weaknesses, and saying, no, I still have a long way to go. Now next, Paul said in verse 13, the middle part, "But one thing I do." Now I believe this emphasizes the fact that he knew where he was going. He knew he was going. Now that attitude is the second essential attributes of a successful athlete. Paul would not allow himself or would not allow anything to break the concentration. He could not allow himself to be sidetracked. Now that is what we need to be careful about. Especially these days when in this world we have so many competition, many things to divert our attention, many things to sidetrack us from our goal and focus. From high technology to humble hobbies or innocent hobbies, and to career opportunities, to new relationship, and the list goes on and on. It's endless. Brethren, we must focus in our spiritual life. Paul noted this when he said that the Lord has apprehended him for a purpose. Now the word apprehend means to seize or to take possession of. So when Paul said he was apprehended of God, he still recalled the day when on his way to Damascus, God caught him there. Earlier in his writing, he was talking about his passion, commitment to the study of the law. How he became a Pharisee, one of the religious elite of his days. In the matter of law, he was blameless. Not to mention that he came from a very honorable tribe of Benjamin. Yet, his life was unfulfilled. He was searching for a purpose in his life. He thought that he found it in his relentless persecutions of those innocent Christians that followed Jesus Christ. And yet he never realized that God was little by little preparing the way to take hold of him and use him for his glory. Now I wonder, have you to realize that God has apprehended you or saved you for a purpose? Jesus said, remember, you have not chosen me, but I had chosen you. Now literally, Jesus was saying that I have selected you for myself. I have directed your way now, every now and then. And then that you might go away and bear fruit, and that your fruit will remain. Yes, God has chosen us to make us like Jesus and that we would bear spiritual fruit. Now the question is, how are we doing in this regard? Are we fulfilling the purpose for which God has chosen and saved us? Never forget this. God did not choose, or God did not save us to give us that hellfire insurance. God did not save us just to let us know that one day we are not going to hell. God saved us not just to give us the assurance that one day we are going to heaven. No, God saved us for a definite purpose in mind.
Amen.
Yes, we have been apprehended for a reason, to know Him and to make Him known, to bear fruit. But to find His specific plan for our lives, which is unique and personal. We need to discover that. When the Apostle Paul, on his way to Damascus, Paul said, Lord, what do you want me to do? A very good question, which I believe should be asked. We should ask the same question now. Lord, what do you want me to do with my life? Why do you seize and apprehended me? Now from here, Paul said next, forgetting those things which are behind. Paul had a wretched and degrading past. Although he had a great religious pedigree, and though to the best of his ability, he had observed the law, and yet deep down in his heart, he has to live the rest of his life with the knowledge that he was responsible for the executions of many innocent Christians. But Paul was able to put his past behind him. And he moved forward. When he uses the word forgetting, it is not